Hello everybody, I'm Mary Catherine Greenlaw, the Mayor of the City of Fredericksburg, and I am proud on behalf of our city to bring you greetings and to help us all remember on this 152nd Memorial Day all of our fellow Americans who died in service to our country. We are standing here on hallowed ground. This little triangular piece of ground in Fredericksburg was dedicated in 1926 to the memory of those who died in World War I. Over the years, it has had a German gun that was turned in for scrap metal in 1942, ironically to fight the Germans again, and that now it has an anti-aircraft gun stationed here. But most importantly, in the year 2008, our wonderful Veterans Association erected these beautiful granite pillars with over 400 names of men and women who sacrificed it all for us. We talk a lot here in Fredericksburg about our history and about the important contributions we have made to our nation's history, especially to the documents that created the democracy that we are, the values that we believe in, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. None of those things would be possible today. We would not enjoy those freedoms today were it not for the sacrifice of men and women in uniform throughout the years who were dedicated and committed not only to their country, but to their comrades, and willing to give it all. Today, we remember, and we have these beautiful pillars here to enable us to remember every day as we walk by. And I see people here silently standing respectfully. Today, we remember not only those named here, but those whose pictures you will see in this broadcast of the men and women that people have contributed from this area that we should remember. Every day should be Memorial Day. We are fortunate we have those buried over on Marie Heights, we have those buried over in Washington Avenue, we have those buried over on Little Page Street, but all the men and women who have served in uniform and who have sacrificed in all the graveyards and all the hometowns all over the United States. Today, let us stop, say a prayer, and remember, and always hold dear in our hearts our veterans.
Hello, folks. I wish we could be together as we traditionally are on Memorial Day, but due to the circumstances surrounding us, we'll celebrate Memorial Day in the virtual sense. I want to thank the Fredericksburg Area Veterans Council for putting this together so that we can honor those that have given all to our nation. It's a tremendously important time. I know that we would prefer to do this in person, but I still think that we can share what is extraordinarily important to our nation, and that is honoring the sacrifices of all the folks in the Fredericksburg area that have done so much to fight for and gain and maintain the freedoms and liberties that we have all come to cherish. Thanks again to all the different veterans groups too. I know normally this ceremony we have veterans groups, we have the veterans service organizations. I want to thank everyone who's normally involved in the event. Thank you too for what you've done in the past. Thank you for joining us in the virtual ceremony. This is a real honor to be able to take the time and share words of honor and respect for the veterans that have given all to our nation. You know, this time in our nation's history is one of significant challenge, but it's not unlike the challenges that we faced in previous years. In fact, we see today the great example of service and sacrifice of members of the military. We see them around the world doing things necessary to stay on station to defend this nation. Even in the face of this disease outbreak, we see first responders across our communities that are out there each and every day helping those in need. We see our healthcare workers doing the same. We see folks across all different walks of life adjusting how they work and their schedules and their family lives to make sure that we're doing everything we can as a nation. Folks, I am confident that we will get back on our feet, that we will get back to doing the things that make our community special, and that we will have the opportunity in next year to be able to come together on Memorial Day to honor those that have given all. So I want to thank the Fredericksburg Area Veterans Council for all that they do through the years. They've been extraordinarily important in connecting veterans with the community, with businesses, with veteran service organizations to make sure we're doing everything possible to help and support our veterans.
Hey, happy Memorial Day. I'm Senator Bryce Reeves, and I just wanted to share a quick message of thanks to all those who have gone before us to solidify our freedoms by serving our country in uniform and ultimately paid the ultimate sacrifice. For me, Memorial Day is personal. It reminds me of my family's sacrifices at the altar of freedom. In fact, today I wear a special memorial bracelet to remind me of one of my uncles who passed away on March 23rd, 1945 in the Philippines. And I thought I'd just kind of read his obituary so you can kind of understand why Memorial Days are special for the Reeves family. Buried in the Philippines, Private First Class James Reeves of Lott, Texas, who was killed by enemy machine gun fire in Romblon Island, March 23rd, has been buried at the United States Armed Forces Cemetery in San Jose, Mindoro Province, Philippine Islands. After funeral services by an Army chaplain, his family has been informed. Private Reeves entered the service in December of 1942. He went overseas in June of 1943. He was wounded in Leyte on October 23rd, 1944, and returned to duty in December. Private Reeves was killed by a hidden enemy machine gunner after participating in the liberation of the little town of Romblon. The Purple Heart Award has been received by his mother, Miss Josephine Sarton of North 18th Street. So for the Reeves family, Memorial Day is a special day where we look back on our family and their sacrifices. And I just thought as we hunker down under this new challenge that our nation faces, just let us never forget the selfless sacrifices that those have paid at the altar of freedom, who died for the cause of freedom. I want to thank you again. I want to thank the Fredericksburg area veterans and all the folks that are out there. I hope you have a healthy and safe Memorial Day and can enjoy it with your family. But I want you to pause and cogitate a little bit about why we are still the greatest nation in the earth, and it's because we have men and women that have gone before us, who have died, and I think that's pretty special. So thank you so much. God bless you all.
Hi, this is Tim Duffy, City Council, and I'm glad to share what Memorial Day means for me. You know, so many of our families have been affected by service members who have sacrificed so much for this country. And so I think of all my friends, thousands and thousands of students and families I've worked with in city schools. And I'll be certainly thinking of all the people who sacrificed so much to help us be where we are today on Memorial Day. Thank you.
In these uncertain times, we have all had to adjust to a new way of living. But today we gather from where we can to honor those who have sacrificed during uncertain times in their own lives. We can and should talk about heroism and sacrifice. And if you flip through our nation's history books, you will be inundated with accounts of bravery that still resonate deep within us decades later. We are humbled by the tremendous courage shown by our brave sailors, soldiers, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen throughout our history. That's why it's important, in fact, imperative, that we remember them always. Almost 150 years ago, President Abraham Lincoln stood before a war-weary nation and uttered the most famous words ever said about veterans. Lincoln spoke of the sacred obligation of our nations to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan. But we know that honoring those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms with words alone fall terribly short if we do not bring those words to life by honoring them equally with deeds worthy of their sacrifice. How can we give them something more than a ceremony and a moment's gratitude? We must keep all of our promises to the men and women who have served when they swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies. They made a commitment to all of us. So on this solemn day, we recommit ourselves to standing up for veterans. We must never stop fighting for them or their families. They never stopped fighting for us, sacrificing for us, and so many gave their last dying breath for us. It is up to us now to honor those still with us and the survivors of those who have passed by fulfilling the nation's promise to our protectors, our military veterans. Although we cannot be physically together on this day of remembrance, I ask you to never forget those that have given so much. Remember their names. Say their names, for they will never be forgotten. God bless those who have fallen before us, our military members, our veterans, their families, and our country. God bless you.